I did see that Norm was Letterman's choice to be his last stand-up. I thought that was pretty.
That was
neat.
a funny bit too about
that was great.
World War II.
Well, which one? The funniest bit I thought of Norm's that he said was how your phones change everything now.
Right.
That is a picture. He's got one grainy picture of his great-grandfather, like separating the hogs on the farm.
Right.
But now, because everybody's got a phone right now, somebody from years from now, here's 1 million pictures of my great-grandfather doing everything in their life.
And Norm's face when he did his grandfather.
Yeah, so he's just
horrified that someone's taking his picture. Like, just looking like in shock, like, don't take my picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great bit.
Oh.
But didn't he do the Hitler bit too? Germany challenges the world. And then they fought the world again.
Norm Macdonald, and this is not a slam on Comedy Central. Sure it's not. But, this day's been coming a long time. Fucking, now listen. They had Norm Macdonald, who's like the most eclectic fucking Renaissance mad mind, hosting a goddamn sports show. That was their idea. That's called putting somebody in a fucking harness. He's hosting a goddamn sports show. Of course that wasn't... Sports is one of the many... He doesn't even like sports. He just likes gambling, so he knows a lot about sports. You're taking one of the most brilliant minds and putting him in a fucking... I hope your next sports show is hosted by Aaron Hernandez. I'm serious.
Well, pound for pound, Manny Pacquiao is the greatest fighter in the world. This Saturday night, Pacquiao defends his welterweight title in Las Vegas. Now, I don't gamble anymore. You could say I had a bit of a problem. And my bankruptcy lawyers have said as much as well. Hey, Neil, you bet $25,000 on Pacquiao to win. I'm telling you, it's a mortal lock.
I like this Sugar Shane Mosley.
Sugar Shane who? What? You never told me about this guy? Why is he on the cover? So anyways, I'm worried about this guy, and I'll tell you why. He's bigger than you, and he's blacker. Mm-hmm. And that's what I go on with my boxing. I always pick the bigger, blacker guy. This is a lot of money. I want you to look me in the eye. Are you going to win this fight?
Yes.
The fight is this Saturday in Vegas, and I just want to tell you this is a real ticket. This is not some TV horse. So I really feel good about it, but part of me wishes I'd bet on the other guy.
All right. Perfect reference there. Hey, now listen, did I hear some rumble that Brother Sandler sent out Maseratis to the cast of Grown Ups? Did you reap the benefit?
First of all, let me just say one thing. Nothing's better than Nancy Pelosi Augustus reference.
Pelosi Augustus.
I'm still swooning over that one. Yeah, Sandler gave Maseratis to Spade, Schneider, Kevin James, Chris Rock, all of whom need one, by the way. Very bad.
Exactly. What'd you get?
No bitterness, but me and Norm Macdonald, yeah, we're splitting a zip car.
And you split a zip car with Norm. It's like having one of those, those Christmas trees the drivers have that smells like North Slope Sensimilla.
Yeah, this car. I don't know. They must have been smoking pot in here or something.
Norm cancels on us once every 2 weeks, and I almost enjoy it more than him showing up at this point, because he always wants me to talk to some ventriloquist puppet that he says is on the phone. A Holocaust tonight. What has happened to Norman?
And then when he sees you, he's going to go, how come you never have me on your show?
Nope.
We tried to get you on. What?
Nobody funnier, though. I mean, you got to give it to him.
Nobody funnier.
That guy, if I'm in a room with him for 10 minutes, they got to put the paddles on me because I flatline.
When I worked on his sports show.
Oh, yeah, you know him well, yeah.
I gave him a ride. Then I was staying at Neil's house. Then they're like 2 blocks away in Santa Monica. So Norm goes, it's Friday night. We have off Saturday. Norm goes, you want to come up? I go, no. I go, because I think he's tricking me. Because if I say yeah, then I'm gay. Yeah. So I go, no, I don't want to come up. So I go up. He eventually talks me into going up. It's awkward. So then I leave. Then when we go back to work, he goes, yeah. Then Brennan drops me up. He goes, can I come up? I'm like, what do you want to come up for? He goes, I want to see. I want to see your apartment. I go, the guy must be queer. Like he goes to the whole thing. He's like the boss. He's my boss, so I have to let him tell the story. You know? I can't interrupt.
So
him.
funny. Yeah.
No, it's class. Like I didn't know that was one of his classic
great at that
maneuvers.
kind of stuff.
You say
Well,
you're homophobic.
No, he'll do it with anybody. I mean, we went shopping one time when we were doing the movie in Boston, and then the guy's like, he goes, I need to buy jeans. He just walks in, just announces, I need to buy jeans. Like, it's a store full of jeans, but he acts like, it's a fucking, whatever the jeans store is. And he
Yeah.
acts like, I need jeans. And then the guy's like, well, sure. What size do you like? He goes, and so-and-so. And he goes, all right, just go in the back of the boot. What? Go back there and you want me to take my pants off? Look at this guy. And he starts telling all the other customers, this guy just told me to go in the back and take my pants off. I just came in to buy clothes. This guy wants me to go in the back and just take your pants off. I'm in my underwear.
Was he was saying that to him was somebody there with him, or was just?
I was with him.
Oh,
The whole store's laughing, but it's like,
Oh, my
what?
God.
He just causes a fucking ruckus.
that's classic.
Well, I don't understand what complex mathematics is, but one time I was in an elevator with Norm Macdonald, and we're in the elevator with these guys, because Norm Macdonald in an elevator is very, he'll he will literally say the worst thing you can say about somebody and then leave, and you're left there with all the people. That's his thing, one of his things. But there's two guys who were talking about some complex mathematic thing. This is in the late 90s at 30 Rock. And they're saying this, I didn't even understand what language it was. It was a really deep mathematic thing. And then Norm Macdonald, who had never brought up math or anything like that to me in his life, goes, and starts speaking to them in this, what sounded like tongues. And they're like, oh, but, and they start speaking the binary, and he goes, and he starts speaking this mathematic talk, and then they leave. And then he goes to me like, yeah, those guys are nerds or something like that. And I was like, what? How do you know that? How did you know what they were talking about?
How did he know?
He's like,
He's a nerd too.
He knows something deep, he knows these things sometimes.
He's a very smart guy.
Really smart.
Yeah.
One of those guys that just, he'll just pretend not to know something. And he'll be like, that's like, and then you're like, what? Anybody walks in the room, he knows what they're talking about,
Yeah, he's a guy that really should have had a podcast a long fucking time ago. And I know he's doing something now. He sent me a text message the other day that he's starting to do a podcast now. Hey, Joe,
I'm doing a podcast.
Doing that thing we talked about. He should have done a lot because he had that show on Netflix, but they muzzled him when he went on the Howard Stern show.
Right.
And he was saying something, and he didn't want to say retarded, so he said, you'd have to have Down syndrome to believe that. Because he thought that'd be a better thing to say.
But here's the thing about Norm. I'm still not sure if he thought that would be a better thing to say.
Right, you never know.
Because he's so smart. He might have been doing it as a double troll.
Yeah.
No, Norm is capable of the double troll. It's like, I don't want to say retarded. Down syndrome.
The double troll, exactly.
Yes, he's the master of that stuff.
I randomly wound up sitting next to him on planes twice. On two different occasions, just I go, Norm, out of nowhere, and he's sitting next to me. And one time, we're sitting there, we're talking, and we're having a good old time. And then he's talking about, I quit smoking. He's telling me how he quit smoking and finally quit smoking. And he's telling me all these things. And then when he lands, he literally, he can't stop himself, runs into the airport store and buys cigarettes. And he's lighting it as he's leaving. I go, I thought you quit. He goes, I did. But all that talking about smoking makes me want one. And he's like, before he even got out the door, he's lighting the cigarette. He just couldn't stop himself.
But he goes, all that talking. He's the one talking about it. All that talking. He always puts it on you. That's what's great about it.
But
he's like, this guy talks about smoking. He got me back smoking.
But it was so crazy because I was like, that's great, Norm. It's so great you quit. And he's like, fuck, I want a cigarette.
Yeah. No, he always do I don't drink, I quit drinking. And it was like, oh, really? Did you drink a lot? Yeah. I quit. I finally had to quit, It's hard, but I did it. And they're like, oh. He goes, yeah, because I got fucking wasted last night. And I said, I'm never going to drink again. I was drunk. And people are like, wait, I thought you quit. Yeah, I quit. That's what I'm saying. He's always...
Last night?
Yeah. It's like an elaborate, Abbott and Costello routine.
Yes, exactly. Well, the gambling, too. He fucking loves gambling.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But that's a thing. A lot of these great comics are, really impulsive.
Yeah.
It's like something about like the ability to say some of the crazy shit that he says.
Yeah.
It's you have to have this like hot wire.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, you just want to touch it. Ah.
Yep. Oh no, he's one for the books.
Yeah.
On the subject of SNL, and it's sweet when you took over for Norm, and Gilbert and I haven't said anything. Gilbert, I don't know. Have you spoken publicly since Norm passed about him, Gil?
I think I don't know if I.
We haven't said anything on this show,
Yeah.
which we
No.
we would like to do now. You both knew him well, but the bartender speech when you took over, and obviously it was a very awkward period for you.
Oh God!
To be stepping into that role, and also a friend's job.
Yes, yeah. It was like we lived in the same building too.
You know how you go to your favorite bar and your local bartender isn't there? You ask, where's Jeff? Jeff no longer works here, I'm Steve. And you're thinking, hey, who's this idiot? I like Jeff, but you still want your drink? And even though Steve doesn't mix your drink the same way you're used to, like Jeff, you still like the bar, you don't have to go to a different bar. And even Steve might feel kind of bad because Jeff trained him.
Did he ever say anything to you about that? Did he ever give you
He
a
was
blessing?
so he was so classy in not saying anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all.
You have that great I'm Steve, what can I get you?
Yeah.
The bartender piece.
Well, I'm Steve. What can I get you?
But I wish it would have stayed the way it was. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, Norman's he's so funny. He was so distinctively funny. You know?
Nobody like him, really.
No, he had his own thing. You know what I mean? He was just very well, like Gilbert. I mean, they just have their own. They march to their own drummer, even in a business where everybody marches to their own drummer. They both have that, you know, idiosyncratic thing where it just be like, this is how I am, and that's it, and it's great. But you know, you have to tune to their frequency. You know, it's not like you can just, you know.
You know what's funny about that first update you did? Here's Norm being fired, as we all know, by Don Ohlmeyer,
right?
Because of cutting too close to the bone with the OJ jokes. When in fact he was doing a public service by telling those OJ jokes. And I'm watching you do your first update. There's an OJ joke. It's like the third joke.
Yeah.
In the February issue of Esquire magazine, O.J. Simpson said that if I had killed Nicole, it would have been because I loved her very much. And then he said, and if I had killed Ron Goldman, it would have been because he accidentally witnessed me loving Nicole very much. Somebody should buy this guy a John Gray book, all right?
You shook his hand once, OJ? Getting out of a car?
Well,
he was getting out of a limo?
He was getting out of a limo middle of the afternoon, and I have no psychic energy. I've never had those kinds of things, you know. But for whatever reason, this was in an afternoon. He's getting out of a limo with a girl. It's spring break. It's packed with people. It's Florida. And they're like, hey, do you want to meet OJ? I go, yeah, OJ, he's greatest running back of all time. You know, great, charming movie star. I shake his hand. He shakes my hand. And he's not even looking at me. He's looking past me. And he shakes my hand. And I felt like a jolt of like evil. I swear to God.
It's like the Dead Zone.
That's what it was like. That's what it was like. And I was like, I go, that was weird, OJ. I love OJ. Well, that was weird energy, you know.
Wow. So you picked up on something.
I feel like I did, you know. It's, of course, in retrospect, but I remember telling people at the time, so.
I was also fond of, going back to your SNL bits, Colin Quinn explains the New York Times.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And the St. Pat's editorial and Joe Blow. You look like you were having fun, and the best stuff is you and Norm together.
That's right. That's
you know,
right.
There's
and
obviously an affection that comes across on the screen.
Yes, yeah. And that was the early days of it. It was great.
I'm sorry we never managed to get him here. We tried, and for whatever reason, he was as elusive as you.
He's more elusive. He's like,
he was.
I love to do it. I'd love to. You're like, oh, good. How about next week? Yes. What day? And you're like, okay. Yeah. He's like, all right, call him and we'll set it up. Next week is perfect because I'm doing this. And you're like, hey, I'll say Norm. Years later, what happened? What? Yeah. I thought I was going to come on your show. What happened? It's like, oh, Jesus, Norm.
Well, like you say, march to his own drum.
Yeah.